Look out!
The champagne flute in Chairman Kang Jun-ho's hand shattered against the marble floor, the sound echoing like a gunshot through the grand ballroom of the Shilla Hotel. He didn't notice the glass shards piercing his expensive leather shoes. He didn't notice the cameras of the international press flashing in his face. He only saw the boy. Standing on the velvet-draped podium, an 8-year-old with tight curls and skin the color of polished mahogany looked back at him with eyes that were an exact, terrifying mirror of his own. You're a hero to these people, Leo's voice boomed through the microphone, steady and cold, devoid of the tremor one would expect from a child. But you're the man who broke my mom's heart, and today, I'm here to collect the debt. The silence that followed was suffocating. The elite of Seoul sat frozen. Security guards moved forward, but Jun-ho raised a trembling hand, stopping them. His heart hammered against his ribs, a sensation he hadn't felt in a decade. Who is your mother? He whispered, though deep in his soul, the answer was already screaming. Her name is Maya, Leo said, stepping closer to the edge of the stage. The woman you left for dead, the woman you tried to erase. 8 years of carefully constructed walls crumbled in Jun-ho's mind. Flashback to a rainy night in Itaewon 10 years ago. Jun-ho, then just a rebellious heir, had ducked into a small Afro-fusion cafe to escape his father's bodyguards. That's where he saw her. Maya, a Nigerian architecture student with a laugh that sounded like music and a mind that saw the world in blueprints and light. Now you're looking at the structure of the ceiling like you want to rewrite it, Jun-ho had said, sliding into the seat across from her. Maya hadn't looked up from her sketchbook. The weight distribution is inefficient. It's built to impress, not to last. Kind of like the people in this neighborhood. I'm Jun-ho, he'd replied, intrigued by the fire in her eyes. I'm busy, she'd countered. It took 3 months of him showing up every day, bringing her rare architectural journals and eating spicy yalof rice that made him sweat, before she finally let him in. They were a scandal waiting to happen, the crown prince of the Kang group and a brilliant African woman with no interest in his money. Their love was a secret sanctuary, built on the rooftop of Maya's cramped apartment, where they dreamed of a soul that embraced everyone. When I take over, Maya, Jun-ho had whispered one night, we will build the Lumina Tower together, a bridge between our cultures. I don't care about the board of directors. I only care about you. Your father won't allow it, Jun-ho, Maya had warned, her hand resting on her stomach, hiding a secret she wasn't yet ready to share. His heart is made of stone and stocks. Then I'll turn his stone into dust, Jun-ho had promised. But the world of the Kang group was more ruthless than Maya imagined. When Jun-ho's father found out about the pregnancy, he didn't scream. He acted. He staged a car accident on the way to the airport where Jun-ho and Maya were supposed to elope. Jun-ho woke up in a hospital 3 days later, his father standing over him with a cold, clinical expression. She's gone, Jun-ho. The girl and the child. Oh, the impact was too great. There were no survivors. It's time to grow up and lead this company. For 10 years, Jun-ho lived in a gray world, believing his heart was buried in a grave he wasn't allowed to visit. He became the ICE chairman, ruthless and efficient, expanding the Kang group until it dominated the skyline. Back in the present, the ICE chairman felt like he was drowning. He stepped toward the podium, his voice cracking. Leo, that's your name? Is she alive? Leo's lip curled into a smirk that was far too old for his face. She's more than alive, Chairman. She's the reason your company is failing. Did you really think those anonymous lawsuits and the failed merger last month were accidents? The crowd gasped. And the Kang group had been bleeding money for 6 months due to a mysterious rival firm called Obelisk. You think you're here to give a speech about charity, Leo continued, pulling a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. A blueprint for the very building they were standing in. But you're actually here to face the person you robbed. Before we reveal the secret Maya has been keeping for 8 years, take a moment to join our community. If you love stories of deep emotion and hidden truths, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and tell us in the comments. Do you believe in second chances after a decade of lies? You're watching Soulmate Stories, and the real twist is just beginning. Jun-ho reached for the blueprint, his fingers brushing Leo's. The shock of the physical contact sent a jolt through him. "Where is she, Leo?" "To take me to her." "I don't think you understand," Leo said, his voice dropping to a whisper that the microphone still caught. "She didn't send me here to find a father. She sent me here to watch you fall." At that moment, the doors at the back of the ballroom swung open. A woman walked in, silhouetted by the hallway lights. She was dressed in a traditional Nigerian gala of vibrant gold and a tailored Korean silk suit, a walking bridge of the two cultures Junho had once promised to unite. Maya didn't look like a victim. She looked like an empress. "The debt is due, Junho," she said, her voice carrying over the murmurs of the elite. "And I've come to collect it in full." Maya's footsteps on the marble floor sounded like the ticking of a countdown clock. Every eye in the room moved from the billionaire on his knees to the woman who had just shattered the evening's prestige. Junho tried to stand, his legs shaking. "Maya, they told me you were dead. I saw the records. I went to the site. I spent years looking for a grave that didn't exist." Maya stopped at the base of the stage, looking up at him not with the love of the girl from the rooftop, but with the cold calculation of a master architect. "They didn't tell you I was dead, Junho. Your father bought your silence with a lie, and you were too weak to look deeper. You chose the boardroom over the truth. You chose your inheritance over your blood." "I was broken," Junho roared, the raw emotion in his voice silencing the murmurs of the crowd. "I spent 3 years in a bottle because I couldn't breathe without you. I didn't choose this life. I accepted it because I thought there was nothing else left." Leo stepped between them, his small hand resting on the microphone stand. "He's lying, Mum. Look at his suit. Look at this building. He didn't look for us because he was too busy building monuments to himself." Maya looked at her son, her expression softening for a fraction of a second before hardening again as she turned to Junho. "You call this the Lumina Tower, Junho? You stole my sketches. These floor plans, the cantilevered glass, the structural heart of this building, it's the work I did when we were 20. You didn't just leave me. You built your empire on the bones of my dreams." The board members began to huddle in the corners, whispering frantically. This wasn't just a family scandal anymore. It was a massive intellectual property theft revelation on a global stage. The reputation of the Kang Group was vaporizing in real time. "I didn't steal them," Junho whispered, realization dawning on him. "My father, he said he hired a design firm to finish the legacy projects. I thought he was honoring the ideas I told him about. I didn't know he had taken your physical portfolio from the apartment." "Ignorance isn't an excuse in architecture, and it isn't an excuse in life," Maya countered. She pulled a tablet from her bag and tapped a command. Behind her, the massive digital screen that had been displaying Junho's achievements flickered and changed. Instead of stock graphs, it showed the internal ledgers of the Kang Group. Red lines moved through the accounts like a virus. "For the last 5 years, you've wondered why your Nigerian infrastructure projects were failing. You wondered why your steel suppliers in Lagos kept pulling out. That was me, Junho. Every time you reached for growth, I was there to cut the vine. I didn't just want you to know I was alive. I wanted you to know what it felt like to have your foundations pulled out from under you." The audience gasped as the screen showed that Obelisk, the firm that had been aggressively shorting Kang Group stock, was registered to Maya's estate. She had played the long game, using her brilliance to systematically dismantle the man who she thought had abandoned her. "Is this what you wanted, Leo?" Junho asked, looking at his son. "To see me lose everything?" Leo looked at his father, then at the golden doll in his hand. "I wanted to see if you were a man or a statue. Statues don't bleed when they lose. Men do." "I would have given it all away," Junho screamed, stepping off the stage to face Maya at eye level. "If I had known you were in that rooftop apartment, if I had known I had a son, I would have burned this building to the ground myself just to keep you warm. Do you think I care about the money? Look at me, Maya. I've lived in a tomb for 8 years. Then why did you sign the marriage contract?" Maya asked, her voice dropping to a dangerous low hum. The room went deathly silent. At the front table, a young, elegant Korean woman named Hana, the daughter of the Prime Minister and Junho's fiancé, stood up. Her face was a mask of perfection, but her hands were clenched at her sides. "Junho," Hana said, her voice trembling, What is she talking about? Junho didn't look at Hana, and he couldn't take his eyes off Maya. It was a merger, my father's final wish before he passed last year. I didn't love her. I told her I could never love her. Maya laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. You're still the same, Junho, letting other people write your script. You're about to marry a woman you don't love to save a company that doesn't deserve to exist. But here is where the story takes a turn that no one in that ballroom and no one watching this video could have predicted. If you're as shocked as the people in this room, make sure you're subscribed to Soulmate Stories. We bring you the most intense, real-life dramas that prove truth is stranger than fiction. Smash that like button and tell us in the comments, is Maya right to seek revenge, or has she gone too far? Maya turned to Hana, the fiancé, and the crowd expected a catfight, a confrontation between the two women. Instead, Maya nodded. Tell him, Hana, Maya said. Tell him why you really agreed to the engagement. Hana stepped forward, glancing at the cameras, then at the shocked chairman. She didn't look like a victim of a forced marriage anymore. She looked like a partner in crime. I've never been interested in your money, Junho, Hana said, her voice steady. And I've never been interested in you. I'm the lead counsel for Obelisk. I'm the one who provided Maya with all your internal passwords and the evidence of your father's fraud. The crowd erupted. The fiancé was the mole. The merger was a Trojan horse. Maya hadn't just attacked from the outside. She had planted an agent in the heart of his home. Junho felt the world spinning. He looked at Maya, the woman he loved. He looked at Hana, the woman he was supposed to marry. And he looked at Leo, the boy who had started this all. He realized he wasn't just being silenced. He was being erased. You used her? Junho whispered to Maya. You used another person's life just to hurt me? I used the tools you taught me were necessary to survive in your world, Maya replied. But Leo's face changed. He looked at Hana, then at his mother. The pride he had felt on stage was replaced by a sudden, sharp realization. He walked to his mother and pulled on her hand. Mom, you said we were here for the truth. You didn't say we were here to be like him. The air in the ballroom turned frigid as the weight of the double betrayal sank in. Junho looked at the three people surrounding him, his son, his former lover, and his spy of a fiancé. He started to laugh, a broken, jagged sound that unsettled the journalists. So, this was never about a conversation, was it, Maya? This was an execution. You didn't come to tell me I have a son. You came to watch the light leave my eyes. Maya stood her ground, but her grip on her designer clutch tightened. I came to show you that the world you built is a house of cards, Junho. You let your father destroy us to protect this legacy. I thought it only fair that I use that same legacy to rebuild what was taken. And what about Leo? Junho stepped closer, ignoring the security guards who were now unsure of who to protect. Did you think about what this does to him? You've turned our son into a weapon. You've taught him that love is just a blueprint for a trap. Leo looked up at his father, then back at Maya. The boy's eyes, once filled with righteous fire, were now clouded with confusion. Mom, you said once we told him the truth, the weight would be gone. But you look heavier now than you did at home. The camera zoomed in on Maya's face. For the first time, the Empress mask slipped. She had spent 8 years fueled by a singular, cold purpose, to make Junho feel the void she felt when she woke up in that hospital bed alone. But seeing her son realize that his mother was just as capable of manipulation as the villain they were fighting, it was a structural failure she hadn't accounted for. I did this for us, Leo, Maya whispered, her voice finally trembling. No, Leo said, stepping back from her. He looked at the shattered glass on the floor, then at the gold doll he still held. You did this for you. He broke your heart, Juane, so you decided to break everything else. But I'm part of everything else. Junho knelt on the floor, not out of weakness this time, but to reach Leo's level. He didn't look at the cameras. He didn't look at the board of directors who were already texting their lawyers. Leo, I can't fix the last 8 years. I can't unread the lies my father told me, but I am not a statue, and I am not going to let this end with more hate. Junho turned to the crowd, his voice regaining its authority, but with a new somber tone. To the press, to the board, Listen carefully. Effective immediately, I am resigning as chairman of the Kang Group. I am admitting to the intellectual property theft of the Lumina designs. In all assets and royalties associated with this building and the West African projects will be transferred to an independent trust managed by Maya and Leo. A roar of whispers broke out. He was giving it all away. He was dismantling the empire voluntarily. Junho, what are you doing? Maya asked in stunned. The board will sue you into poverty. You'll have nothing. I've had nothing for 10 years, Maya, Junho said, standing up and facing her. I just didn't realize it until a child walked onto this stage and told me the truth. You wanted to destroy the chairman? Fine. He's gone. But the man who loved you in that rooftop apartment, he's still standing here, and he's tired of fighting. Hana, the fiancée, stepped back, realizing her role in this play was over. She looked at Maya and nodded. The mission was technically a success, but it felt like a funeral. Maya looked at Junho, really looked at him, for the first time in a decade. She saw the gray in his hair, the exhaustion in his posture, and the genuine grief in his eyes. The ICE chairman was gone, replaced by a man who was willing to lose $1 billion just to win back a sliver of his son's respect. Leo walked over to Junho and handed him the small Yoruba doll. Mom says this represents family. She said you didn't deserve it. But maybe you can just hold on to it for a while. Junho took the doll, his eyes filling with tears. I'll hold on to it forever, Leo. The gala ended not with a speech, but with a slow exodus. The elite fled the scandal, leaving the three of them alone in the center of the wreckage. There was no magical hug, no happily ever after wedding. The wounds were too deep for that. But as the lights in the ballroom began to dim, Junho, Maya, and Leo walked out together. Not as a billionaire family, but as three people starting the long, painful process of learning who they actually were. Maya's revenge had succeeded in tearing down the Kang Group, but Junho's surrender had saved their son from becoming a casualty of their war. As they stepped out into the Seoul night, the Lumina Tower loomed above them, a monument to a love that was broken, but a future that was finally, for the first time, honest. Thank you for staying with us through this intense journey on Soulmate Stories. This story reminds us that while revenge might feel like justice, only the truth can set us free. If this ending moved you, please share this video with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late for the truth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next deep dive into the heart's greatest mysteries. What would you have done in Maya's shoes? Let's talk in the comments below. See you in the next story.